For my underdogs, the ones willing to pay the cost. Even when we're up, we gotta take a loss. Underdogs are always against the odds. I'ma use this opportunity to do it for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. I'ma do this for my underdogs. Yeah, my underdogs.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rec Center Podcast. I'm Kenny Edwards, joined with Lorenzo Parham. Just take a second right now. Go ahead and click that link right below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Man, Lo, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Ken, excited, man. First of all, shout out to Jabari Gilbert on that last interview, man. Jabari let us in on a lot of things that was going on with him behind the scenes through his basketball career, man. So once again, shout out to Jabari Gilbert from Skyline that came and told us his story, man. But we got a big one today, Ken.
Man,
we got a big one.
I'm super juiced.
Growing up where I grew up at, man, and literally I can't think of OAL before their era, man. So welcome, man, KP, man, Kevin Parker to the Rec Center, man.
Man, thanks for having me, man, on the Rec Center, man. You guys been blowing up the airways, man. I really appreciate y'all. I want to talk to old Eddie Kane. Thank y'all, man. It's definitely an honor and a blessing to be here with you fellas today.
So KP, help us out on the whole y'all playing in y'all younger days. You know, it was Rec Center. We have me Manzanita Center, man. We Manzanita Center, so we know the Rec. I know what Rec Center came about, right? But help me out on the level of the Oakland Babe Ruth, and when you guys started playing Dynamite, which sport came first for you guys?
I think it was football.
Okay.
You know, some people in the hood was going up from over there from 2-6. It was who was that, man? It was little Ron. It was a couple dudes, man, who was going to practice. I'm like, man, where they going? Like, man, we play for the Dynamites. Y'all should come up there. So mom slid us up there one day, man, and we sat there in the stands and watched. And, you know, we had old Coach Raven, Coach White, Coach Billy. You know, we had all these legends out there of coaches, and they came up there and hollered at us and like, oh, you get some twins, huh? She was like, yeah, I'm trying to, you know, we knew to the neighborhood over here, and I want to try to get my boys into something, you know, that's positive. And we always, you know, out there in the middle of the streets, out there in the duds playing, and the rest was history. When we started Oakland Dynamites, I think we was eight or 9 years old when we started, man, junior peewees over there, man, and the rest was history, man. And we wanted to try to chase the game and play it at the highest level. And then with Babe Ruth, you know, we just try to stay in the sport. My mom always wanted us to try to stay active. And then Babe Ruth came, and we play actually T-shirt league, man, right there up at Kirk Flood. Yeah. And then you know, Kirk Flood, and then we went over to Greenman and started playing, you know, for New York Life and all that stuff. So yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man, because I remember this. So when you say that 8 and 9 year old playing Dynamites, right? It was one team in Oakland at that time, right? So everybody on your team had to be a boy, right? How did you guys just jump right into that? Because I'm thinking, was Omari Murphy and them already playing, or you know, I remember Omari Murphy, what's Jamani Hogg, and all these dudes already playing.
Lamont Couch.
Couch.
We all Dynamite. We all started together. We all was on the same squad. And you know, when you first started, you know, my career flourished and to become a good running back, but I started off on the line. Coming to the Dynamites, you just wasn't walking out there saying you playing wide receiver, quarterback, or running back. You was going to the offensive line. So the crazy thing about, you know, my story, I played center. You know what I'm saying? I had 79, big dookie face mask with the bar coming all the way down. And I used to hike the ball, and then I would pull. You know what I'm saying? We got all them legends that used to do it in the NFL. I was like, man, I started that. I used to hike the ball and pull and go block for the running backs. And I was telling the coach, like, Coach, I'm the fastest on the team. Like, why am I not playing running back? Oh, I'm going to get you there. You just keep winning your sprints. Keep winning your sprints. And I was like, I'm going to put you out there. And so about 2-3 games in, Coach, man, I'm still winning the sprints, you know. And he was like, man, he put me in there, man. I think I might have scored my second time I touched the ball. And the rest was history, man. So we started off on the line. You had to get your stripes out there on the line. And then, you know, you flourish into be a running back, quarterback, or DB or something, or wide receiver. And then, of course, me and my brother was able to play running back and together.
Hey, that's crazy. How what it transpired to today, right? Because it's kids I can't put on the line that I know is lineman, right? I know you're gonna be a lineman in high school. If I put you on the line right now, you quit. Your family taking you somewhere else, right? That's the landscape, what it is now. Yeah. And it just goes to show the difference of how it was back then, right?
Right.
But one of the things me and Ken talk about is like that. Your interest into the OAL, right? Coming up through Bret Hart, stuff like that, right? Bret Hart didn't have was going to the 9th grade at that time. Did you guys play 9th grade JV, or were you guys still playing Dynamite? Like, were you like
Dynamite? Yeah, no, Dynamite. I never heard of JV until I got up to Skyline. But yeah, we were going all the way to midgets. You know, you wanted to make it to the midgets when you started at junior Pee-wees at the Dynamites. You definitely wanted to make it to the midgets because you wanted to play up under Coach Raven. You know what I'm saying? You always would see Coach Raven out there in his nice outfit, sharp, the whole coaching staff. And that was my goal. I wanted to play for Coach Raven if I could run that ram this or power that. And I made it up to the midgets, man, and we won the championship. And then I went off to high school, you know, starting that 10th grade year, like that 9th grade year. Now that my son had just went by last year, you know, starting high school in the 9th grade, I told him that was different, you know, but we started in the 10th. So, yep, we wanted to get to the midgets, man, and play for Coach Raven.
I can imagine just going straight from the concrete to the Dynamites and all of that talent just on one team. Because you could because I'm fixated on this. I bring it up almost every episode. You could get cut and stuff back then. That's one thing. That's one thing kids these days don't understand is just because you go out there don't mean you about to be on the team.
Oh,
man, come on now. And back when we started, you know, it was only $25, $35 to play. Now, today, I think that's a problem with some of the Pop Warner organizations. I think, you know, the pricing is not right, and a lot of people don't have the means to do it. So luckily, we was blessed, and it was only, you know, $25, $30 when we first started. And I think when we left, it was maybe like $100. But, oh, yeah, they will. Hey, if you didn't do the conditions, you hit them bleachers, oh, man, you ain't even going to get a chance to play in the game. You out of here because it was so deep. It was so deep. It ain't like, you know, high school now. I'm over coaching over at McClemens High School now. We got 24 strong. I'm like, no, you had almost 50 on the team, and it was a competition to get to one of those key positions. So, yeah, they'll run you up out of there in a heartbeat.
KP, with the players that were leaving the Dynamites, right?
Yeah.
We always talk about we had James Thompson on here. Our very first episode was with Arthur Young. Art Young was our first episode that we had on here. And we talked about how Dynamites had the pipeline to Skyline, right? That was the pipeline to Skyline. Yeah. We talked about how what JT told us was Lamont Couch and all of them, because they was coming from Frick, went to Fremont first before he went to Oakland High, right? And then we had your brother who was with the Dynamites who ended up going to Oakland High, right? Did you guys not ever once try to pull a pack together where it was already Dynamites going to Skyline, right? Was it ever a thing you guys tried to put together where everybody go to Skyline, or just the competition would just spread out? You go where you want to go and we just play each other?
I think we always talked about that, but you know how the family households be. You know, if you trim your trend when you go to, you know, Fremont, or you went to Ohio and then some went to Skyline, you finally, you know, you follow suit. So a lot of guys that was right there went to Ohio, played for the Dynamites, was right from the dub. So you kind of stayed in your neighborhood, and you know you would go right to Ohio. A lot of the kids who was coming from, you know, 98th area, you know, stayed in the Grass Valley area, who came to play Dynamites, they were, you know, they was pigeonholed to go up to Skyline. So, you know, those would go up there. But I think it's more your family and where you really stayed. And, you know, when it was time to go to high school, you kind of on your own. You was on that bus. Like my kids now ain't never caught the bus. So, you know, back when we all came up, Miles had you $5, man. You better go to school. You better get on that bus, or you better walk. You know, now our kids don't understand that's what we had to go through. But now, you know, time has changed. We got to, you know, be more better parenting, because, you know, the streets are swallowing them up where they can't even make it to school, which we had that a little bit too. But, you know, a lot I just seen something on TV or Sports Center or somewhere where they was talking about how, matter of fact, it was Snoop talking, that the sport game and the people who in the neighborhoods really took care of the kids who was on a good path. You know what I'm saying? And dope dealers and stuff, oh, that kid got a shot. Give him a couple of dollars. You can't hang here, get to school. I remember all the time I used to go to Skyline, so I used to go around the corner and tell the dudes who was out there doing their thing, I need to ride to school. The bus ain't getting up to the hill. And dudes would jump in their car and ride me up to school. End up into Brent Hart. Man, there was many days that we got dropped off with, looking real cool because we had somebody on Trues and Vogues. We getting dropped off, you know what I'm saying? And the girls like, who is that? Oh, that's the twins. They didn't know that dude was really on the street, just really trying to help us progress to get out the hood, man. So I thank them. And every time I go back to the hood, man, I'm always thanking them dudes, man, who allow us to do what we did and keep us out the way, man. So, yeah, I don't know if I answered the question right.
No, you did. You did it perfect. But so growing up, it's been two myths that was going on. We need you to help us figure out the KP's myth, right? First myth was you and your brother didn't go to the same high school because y'all was told by the Oakland Unified School District y'all can't be at school with each other, right? Give us the story behind. Is that a myth? Is it was that not true? Is it true? Or what's the story behind you guys going to separate schools?
It's not a myth. That is kind of true. It wasn't 100% true where they just said we couldn't do it. They did say they didn't know if we needed to be separated because they thought we were some terrorists, and which that wasn't the case neither. But we would handle business if somebody brought some problems to our doorstep and up at school, and a couple of people had tried us, and we had to handle our business. Like I said, we never started any problems with anybody. We never wanted any issues. But us being twins, we kind of drew that attention. And my mom also wanted us to have our own identity a little bit because we think we were getting overshadowed by each other because us being, two good little athletes. And she knows it's only one football out there. Like, damn, if he's there, he's going to get all the carries, or if he's going to get all the carries, how can they both be seen? Well, my brother ended up becoming a wide receiver. He didn't really like running back as much because he smoked too much weed, so he didn't put in too much of that work. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real, keep it a buck with y'all. The boys down at Ohio was doing a little different thing. We up at Skyline, we treated it a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Not saying because they became champions and they did it how they needed to do it, but us on Skyline, we had Coach Beam, and he beat from a different beat, and then they had Coach Kiefer down there on the flats at Ohio.
So y'all was Notre Dame. Y'all was Notre Dame, and Ohio was Miami.
There
it is. That's it. That's it. But yeah, so the school district did have a little bit to do with it. But then my mom also, she was to say so, and then just allow us to become our own men. And so that the myth is not false. That is true. The school district did want us to be split because right in our last year, we did get in a big brawl up at the schoolhouse, man. We cleared the whole school, and they kind of pinned that on us, but it really somebody came up to the school looking for some issues, and they just chose the wrong two twins to come bring that issue to.
Hey man, I wasn't there, but I can imagine. I'm thinking about the other portion of it, right? True story. If you don't listen to me, true story, man. And after I remember these stories, man, it hurts me because I got to put rest in peace in front of these dudes' name, right? Mm-hmm. True story. Rest in peace, E. Breezy, Eric Greer. He gets into a situation one day, KP, at Bret Hart, and he make a phone call. I don't know. The way people got there so fast, you would have thought they was already at the deli. Hey, but I don't think people understood who was making that phone call and who you was fucking with, who you was messing with, right?
Yeah.
So Breezy made this phone call, and I kid you not, it's probably 20 people there in a matter of 5 minutes, right? So when you say this brawl got cleared out, I can imagine what that looked like, even though I wasn't there, man, because it was certain people that was guard that can make them phone calls, and this is what happens after that, right?
Yeah.
So literally, when you said that story, I'm like, I can see that. I remember E. Breezy had a situation, and it didn't go well for people. And it didn't go well, man. So I can see that. Hey, what was it like when you first got to Skyline, and now you and your brother ain't together on the field no more, right? What was that first year like? It was your sophomore year. Did you play JV your sophomore year, or did you go straight to varsity?
No, this is a crazy story right here. So I went straight to varsity and got into a situation. We had a game. So my brother went to Ohio, of course. He came to see us play El Cerrito, right? So El Cerrito, we played them in non-conference because they weren't in the OEL, of course. So we playing, and I'm out there on the field. It's a brawl going on in the bleachers.
Yes.
I look over and I see this my brother fighting. So everybody from Richmond don't like Oakland kids, so they got one going. So it's only like 8 to 10 of them, and they got the whole bleachers, and they in there, they doing their thing. But I look and I see it's my brother. I run off the field. I run into the bleachers, and I'm finna crown this dude with my helmet because I see my brother fighting. My mama always told her, my brother fight, you fight. So I don't care if it's a football game going on. And by me finna crown the dude, somebody grabbed my arm, and it's Coach Beam. What, he lay into me. He sent me down. Basically, I got in trouble. I couldn't play the rest of that game. My brother chased this dude onto the 50 and suplexed him. Bam. He get arrested. They choking my brother out. I'm crying. I'm mad because I can't go do nothing else to help him because Coach Beam is already on me, right? So from that, he sent me down to JV. So I had to go play JV and get my stripes down there. And it was a blessing because I used to practice against, Kwame Ellis, John Fishers, and all those guys, man. And I got ran over many a time and got baptized because I wasn't really ready. I was only like a buck 40, 30 or whatever it was, and really wasn't ready. I needed some reps under my belt, and I was able to go play JV and become get my confidence up really, because I did well at Oakland Dynamites, but you get to the high school level, you're a little nervous, and then I'm coming to this great school with all this great prestige of winning championships, and you had to pay your dues up there. It felt like I was just really at the Dynamites because you wasn't walking in off the street getting you wasn't getting no burn right away. But I went in there and learned my stripes, and then made it up to what I was able to do in the high school level. I mean, on a varsity level. But I had Coach Sanders, man. I had played against some good dudes. I had Ron Holm, Kwame Ellis, all great teammates. Feehee, it's about 10 of us, I think, signed D1 scholarships. Ended up being our senior year in '94.
Okay. Is Blackwell your senior year as well?
Blackwell, he's my junior. He was a senior. So I looked up to Willie Bowe, man. Those are all the dudes we used to look up to. And then I had Peanut. Peanut became my best friend. Stevie, Stevie Early. I know y'all had Aaron on here, and Aaron was a dog. But Steve played baseball and flipping, and really music was his game. But we ended up becoming great friends on our in playing JV. Dude trying to come up and hit me, man. I'm like, man, who is this little dude, man? Man, he hit me one day in practice, man, and that's his claim to fame, man. Hey, Peanut, man. This is Peanut right here. Hey, Steve, Steve. And since my brother's going on, man, Steve has been my right-hand man, so I call him my brother. But to this day, I call Steve right now. I'm like, Steve, who's the hardest person you ever hit? He gonna say it's me. But it wasn't that hard of a hit, but he did come down there flying. But you know what I'm saying? He just like, man, Peanut gave you the business. I was like, nigga, you used to carry my pads off the field. I don't want to hear none of that
at
shit.
One practice on a Wednesday, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, the crazy thing
He been licking his chops. Oh, I'm gonna get him one day.
That sounds like a replica story of
Dante Marsh
talking
Oh,
to Mikey.
yeah.
Aaron talking to Mikey, right? Aaron hit Mikey one time, and he ain't gonna let Mikey live it down, right? The replica story. Shout out to the Early brothers, man.
That's my family, man. That's my brother, man. So, but yeah, we had some great dudes, man. As y'all went through y'all school, when y'all come through high school, you always had somebody ahead of you that you were hoping you'd be looking up at, and then us being up at Skyline with the great tradition. I always wanted to make the wall. I don't know if you guys had a wall,
Oakland High doesn't have a wall.
We had a wall, man, and you wanted to be on this wall. And I'm talking about it goes way back from, the 60s to the 50s. You got OG pictures up on this wall, and you always wanted to be on that wall, man. And I just would always walk by there going to the gym like, man, I got to be on that wall one day. And that was my goal. And then the guys, like I said, that was in front of me, Will, Dame Gardner, all those guys. I always wanted to be like those dudes. You know what I'm saying? And to be like them, you had to play like them, and then you had to just wait your turn and pay your dues when your time came. And I was fortunate to make the wall because I put in my time and was able to capitalize when I had my opportunity.
Hey, so one of the things you said, and I'm gonna keep tying back your era of playing to now you being a coach on a high school level, and I don't think people understand the wait your time game, right? The benefit in waiting your time, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that? And you at the powerhouse, you at the Oakland powerhouse now, McClymonds, right?
Yeah.
Do you see it where people are leaving the youth football fame and expectly want the instant gratification of, I don't want to wait my time. I don't care if it's a senior right there. I need to be on varsity. I need these reps. Do you experience that as a coach right now?
All the time. All the time, yes. And that's why I really didn't want to coach a position like the running back position or receivers or anything like that. I said, let me do special team, because that allows me to get that kid who won't be playing one of those positions, the key positions right now, but you can play right now on special teams. And I tell them, if you want to play this game as long as possible, you want to go to the NFL, more dudes on the NFL roster is special team players, because you got your pigeonhole quarterback, your running back, your receiver. Those dudes, if you're getting paid the high dollar, that's going to be playing that position. I don't care if you are better than them. If they get the most money, they playing right now. But you can get on the special team. And I'm trying to really have their mind. Let me get all y'all to play together as one, because the game is all together. We all one team. Let's play the special team. But yes, you do see that. And you know why it's caught up on that? Social media. Yep. Social media has had the world turned upside down because everybody want to be like that person who has the most likes and all that stuff. And I don't really understand that stuff. My son, you know, he's in the Instagram world and all this stuff. And if we can kind of put a cap on some of that stuff, what they see or what they're looking at on social media, and understand that it's a time and place. When you become a senior, you should be getting that accolades. And then now you got some of the kids with colleges are offering 8th graders and 9th graders. That has the game messed up right now too. And I don't see it getting any better now, because now with this NIL stuff where kids now can get paid, which I'm happy for that they can get paid, but it's still going to put a lot of monkey and a lot of grease in the game right now, where it's going to be having kids, because it's not so much the kid, it's the family member who's telling these kids, like, you need to get it right now. Like, no, you don't. You know what I'm saying? You just need to become a team player, learn what's going on at that school, and how can you become a good teammate. And then, of course, if you're able to make the plays and you get out there to make the plays, you know, and the fame gonna come if you're one of the chosen ones.
Absolutely, man. I'm just thinking about all of the things like that. So, hey,
I definitely wish we had the NIL when I was playing, though.
Me too. Trust me too. I had a good little following, man, up there.
The NIL benefits the people that are gonna be playing the most, right?
That's true.
I was a quarterback, Lo. I wanted the NIL.
Ken, you were like, when we talk about quarterback NIL, those are Trevor Lawrence's and fucking them, right? Us in the backup, Ken ain't getting. We got to be real marketable.
I got a pretty smile. I played a premier position. I might not get $1 million, but I'll take 100,000.
You gotta look at the research on that, Ken. Like, we gotta look at what's the top earner NIL for the WAC conference, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's going by conference. Like, is it a little different, Ken?
Oh, for sure. But I might have worked a little harder too, because you got to think. I wasn't really trying to go to the league. I knew the league. I just didn't want. I just want to do all that.
Okay, I get
right.
But
in high school, I might have worked a little harder to be a starter. In college, or you never.
But then again, you got to think you were at Oakland High. It wasn't like you were going from some big time quarterback school.
Hey, Lo, Pookie's local furniture outlet. I could have got a futon or something.
Something, right? Yeah. We couldn't even get a meal without it being against. We couldn't get a meal without it being against the NCAA rules, right? Hey, but KP, to rewind, when you get sent back down on JV, is your brother on JV or is he on varsity at Oakland High?
And my brother is in jail.
Oh,
what?
For the brawl?
Yeah. My brother didn't play high school, man, until his senior year. So I don't know if everybody knew that.
I didn't know that.
So,
fill us in on this stuff.
Yeah, man. So my brother was committed an armed robbery. And I was supposed to be in on that. And I was like, man, man, if mom catches, man, we gonna get a whooping, man. That's all I kept thinking about is a whooping from moms. Like, nah, man, I ain't finna rock with this one. So, fortunately, my brother had a baby when he was young, man, 15 years old. My nephew was born, and his baby mama was a little older chick, and she ran a Kentucky Fried Chicken. So it was kind of, inside setup thing, inside jug where it thought it would be cut and deal, come in, do it. She'd be the manager on thing and, be, in and out. Well, fortunately, when you go rob a big franchise like that, man, they came investigated. She snitched on him and they went down. And so my brother then he was locked up. He was up in 100. Well, actually, he started off in San Jose because they committed a crime in East Palo Alto, and was taken out there. And he was facing 5 years, man. And Lord blessed him to get some back to Alameda County. And y'all remember old Coach Green, who used to umpire the game.
Billy Green.
Oh man, Coach Green, man. So he saved my brother really, man, and talked to somebody, and his counselor, I think it was Mr. Smith, I remember, his probation officer did something, and us having a good name, a couple of people wrote a couple of letters and all that stuff. And, we wasn't out here in the streets doing nothing bad. That sports came back to help us because Coach Green would always umpire the games, and he was ahead of 4th and Broadway back in the day. So he wrote a letter. Somehow my brother ended up having to just do 2 years up in Los Cerros. So that would be his 10th and 11th grade year. He come out his senior year and go donkey. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my brother was at, man. So I was always up at Skyline, so I didn't really have that rival until our senior year. And it worked out because, we finishing up now. Now I get to play my brother. Because those previous years, bro was he was locked down, man, because he did that armed robbery, and luckily Lord didn't he let him shine again,
So,
man, I never
question, because I always maybe I'm mistaken, and maybe I'm mistaken. It was maybe I thought it was LaVale that was in jail his school years, but it was your brother.
My brother,
was it both of them?
I think them two niggas was best friends. So, yeah,
it might have been both of them, right?
Huh?
I said they both probably went it during some time during high school.
Now, crazy this, we always in that thing one time. I did a day and a half, and that's all I ever needed. That's all the time. So it was crazy. Let me tell y'all this story. So somebody came up to the school tripping on me and bruh, and we did what we had to do. We were defending ourselves. But the kid parents said that we harassed him, so they came up there and arrested us. So I'm in class one day, like coming to the principal. I'm like, damn, what I do? I know I've been on my best behavior. So I go down to the principal office. They got my brother in handcuffs. Like, bro, what you do? Like, it ain't him, it's you, both of y'all. Like, man, you can start taking laces out your shoes because you going to jail too. I'm like, what? So long story short, the dude came up to the school, him and this other big dude. But I'm like, oh man, we're gonna have our hands full with this other nigga. This nigga is humongous. We weren't really worried about the other dude. So we get into a blood. His boy just take off and run on him, just left him. And we put a mud hole in blood. But his buddy left him, but his parent ended up saying that we caused this issue. We ain't caused the issue, man. The dude came up to our school. We just somebody came up there, but we got arrested. So me and bro happy. We've seen this on TV. So we're in the principal office, but they walk us out like right at lunchtime. So the whole school, like, man, the twins getting arrested. So they walk us up out of there like it's first 48, blood. We can't come together. We smiling, tell everybody, yeah, we gonna be back. We gonna be back. Plus, this is how I knew my brother was going back to jail. But let me tell y'all this. We get down to 4th and Broadway. It's a dude in the wholesale, white dude. We walk in there. My brother, he on the bunk. Bruh, tell Blood, man, get off the bunk, Blood. I got the bottom, he got the top. He made dude sit on the ground, right? So I'm like, man, this dude was in here first, kid. I don't care. Blood, get on the floor. So dude sit on the floor. We take the bunks. 15, 20 minutes later, y'all, my brother say, come on, man, let's start hitting our push-ups.
And it takes you long to get comfortable.
Hey,
Brother
KP, why he
started
watch too much
doing
TV? He watch too much
doing
TV.
push-ups, y'all. So I'm like, but I ain't doing no push-ups, man. I'm getting to get home. We got a game. I started thinking about we got a game. We ain't gonna be able to play our game.
Shit.
Man, brother, he over there doing push-ups. I could have knew. If I swear to God, if I was a betting man back then, I'd have been like, my brother gonna go back to jail at some point. So long story short, later on that evening, LaVelle, they split me and my brother up. Or they finally got a room for us. I go to like number 4, brother go down to like 15, cell 15. I'm in there by myself, y'all, so I'm going crazy. I'm like, man, where my brother at? I'm bamming on the door like, I want my brother, man. Send me my brother. 1 a.m, LaVelle get arrested, y'all. And like, I think when he stole a car or something. They put LaVelle in the cell with my brother. Blow, they start yelling out hoods and everything. 78 to Matt Carter. This is Murder Dove. This, and that. They come, so 6 a.m, they come to get us to brush our teeth, right? My brother run up to my cell like, bro, they finna let you out. We brushing our teeth. You don't even know who in here with me. I'm like, who? He's like, LaVelle. I'm like, hell no. So we go to breakfast that morning, but they ain't bunked them 2 dudes up together. And long story short, they both ended up spending a little bit more time in that thing. But that's all I needed, man. I did a day and a half, and that's the hardest time and the only time that Kevin Parker gonna see in the jail cell. But yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, both of them did. I'm sorry to get all the way around that. They both ended up spending some time. But bro was gone for about 2 years, man. This high school career.
Man, hey, KP, what was your welcome to the OEL moment, though? What was the moment that welcomed you to the OEL as a ball player?
It was Peanut.
It wasn't Peanut.
Hold on one second.
It was Peanut.
It wasn't Peanut.
Peanut, welcome you to the OEL.
It really came for me in practice, man. I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the games, but in practice up at Skyline, man, was very hard because we always practice together. And then once you had the talent you showed on JV, they would always bring you up to, be the crash dummy, really. And I had the one day, John Fisher ran me over so hard, man. I'm talking about Fish was like he was when he played in the pros, man. He was about 200, 220, and he was that same size in high school, and that boy ran me over so bad. I got up from that. He's like, go again. Man, I was questioning myself, and then I had Kwame Ellis right after that, man. And then we had Shark, we had Eric Fortenberry, all these dudes that I had to hit every day. And I was an all right hitter. I wasn't, the best hitter. I get you down on the ground. But when I ran the ball, I turned into that dog where I was, trying to run people over if I couldn't use my speed to get around. But I would say, I know I have one. I played Oakland High, man. I played my brother in them team. This is a crazy story. A lot of people don't know too. Ohio players, Ohio was crazy. I don't know if you follow these dudes' footsteps. So we had a rainy game with them dudes one time. You get hit in the rain. Everybody likes to slide in the mud. So I get hit with them shots on the sideline. Boom. I slide all the way to the bench. Them niggas had a canteen. I think you put the liquor in. Them niggas was drinking liquor on the sideline, blood. Like, we out here, boy. Yeah, you gonna hit like this all day long. And I'm like, was that just a silver can? Them niggas had some Hennessy on the sideline. And then the other thing moment was a big Ali Easton. I try to go up over the top, right? I'm in the air. He catch me in the air. The boy say, elevator going down. I was like, oh. I saw my wind knocked out. And it was just like, man, oh my God. And then the other moment to finish my career, man, I got to play with my brother in the championship, man, in the Silver Bowl. And they on like the 4-yard line, man. I was like, we had an opportunity to win. I'm telling Coach Bean to put me in the game to go play with my brother, man. He put this little dude in the game with D. His name was D. And my brother called him for mismatch. He's telling Jace Goree, man, throw me the ball. Like, it would look like Michael Irvin on somebody. Like, it was just a true mismatch. I'm like, Coach, put me over there on my brother, man. Bro, go 96 yards, man. Take his helmet off, spin on it, stand on his helmet, pose like the Heisman to win the game. And I was, and down deep and down inside, I was happy for my brother because that's my brother. But we ended up losing the chip because of that, because he didn't put me in on my brother, man. The dude went 96, y'all, and went crazy, bro. So those is moments, man. I just really so happy to be growing in the OEL, man. And I think that's why I'm back trying to coach in that thing today. because all those moments, all you guys who came after us, the ones who came before us, man, it was just those traditions. You know, even if we ain't at the school, if I didn't go to Tech, or I didn't go to Ohio or Castlemont or Fremont, we always would hear what was going on at those schools. You know what I'm saying? Oakland very small, so we would hear what was going on. Even if we couldn't get there to support people, we were always happy for what we do. And I think that's why that little league, those 6 teams, is able to do what we do and send the people around the country as we do, because, you know, it's small, but it's powerful.
Right. The only thing I could think of is if LaVelle and your brother was out your junior year, we might have another Silver Bowl.
Y'all might have had one, but I think, matter of fact, Bell, I think, played in that one. My brother didn't play in that one. So, yeah, that could have been another weapon. Bell was there with Cooper Wood and all those big dogs that they had, man. Murph and all those dudes, man. And Lamont Couches. And, you know, my play that he finished at Fremont, yeah?
Nah, he was at Ohio.
Ohio, yeah, I had it right. So those dudes, man, it's just a lot of names, a lot of legends, man. A lot of dudes that, you know, everybody was looking up to each other, man, and hold each other accountable, really.
Hey, KP, can you speak to, because it died down by the time Ken got to Oakland High, right?
Mm-hmm.
It started dying down by the time I graduated, right? Can you speak to what that Skyline Ohio rivalry was like when your era? Because it went from at least 92 to at least like 90, 95. Ohio fell off after the 95 season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to what that rivalry was like and what it was like game week when you playing Ohio?
It was crazy. There was no talking. Me and my brother, I was telling Kim before you had jumped on, you know, we stayed in a little 2-bed apartment, man. You know what I'm saying? We had bunk beds. We took them down when we got a little older because we want to try to do our own things. You know what I'm saying? If you're up at the top, you couldn't slang like you needed to. You know what I'm saying? So we had to separate the bunks. But so we would sit there, man, in game week, we would not talk to each other. So moms would be mad that we would sit across from each other, looking at each other crazy. And it was really no talking. There wasn't really much trash talking between us. We would just look at each other crazy and would not speak that whole week. Now, that thing went from not just being in football season, from basketball season. I remember us being at Ohio Skyline basketball one day, and everybody would always come out and support, you know, each other's sport. We down there one time, y'all, it's a basketball game going on, and we get to hoorah in the crowd. It went from leaving the basketball game, got empty, to everybody going on the field to a full-out football game where I think somebody broke their arm, and it was just a flat-out brawl. But I'm talking about that's how the rivalry went. It wasn't just from football season. It went from any season. It was on. If you got enough of y'all together, we got enough of us together, take it to the green. And it stayed within the field or whatever sport it was. It wasn't that, you know what I'm saying, we was out there fighting each other, none of that, but it was just, we better than y'all, it's proof right now. Nigga, it's hoop season. I don't care. Somebody got a ball up a t-shirt. It went from balling up a t-shirt one time, and it was on out there on that field. I'm telling you, I think I had got bloody lip. It was on. Looked like we had our whole gear on. It was, man, let's line it up. And that's just how it was, man. And I think that's where it needs to go back to. It just needs to stay within the lines of whatever sport it is, and not the street stuff that a lot of stuff is going on right now, man.
Hey, that sounds like an episode of All American, Ken.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
For real. For real.
We gonna take it to the field.
Line it up.
Regardless wherever you play,
Right
we
now.
lining it up, right?
Yes.
That's how I can imagine what that was like, man. For real, for real.
Yeah.
So KP, when did you start getting recruited as a football player? What year did your recruiting start?
Actually, I think Coach Beam called me in the office and said I had a shot. You know, he said he's selling a couple tapes out and he might have a shot. This at my end of my junior year. He said, but, you know, for me, I grew up with a learning disability. I don't know a lot of people know that. I know when I get out and speak, I always tell it because I'm not ashamed of it anymore. But I struggle to read and writing, and I ran from it for a long time because, you know, us being the most popular people at every school we went to. But, you know, in the world, everybody's different. You know, we got big people, small people, fat people. We have some geniuses. We have some people who need some extra help. And I was one of those kids who needed some extra help. And I ran from that for a long time, even just like when I got to college, of trying to take my own life from it, you know. And it was something that now I speak freely about, but I ran and I was clammed up about, and I wasn't free, because it was times I'd get to class and I would cause a little ruckus in class because the teacher would ask me to read. And, if I couldn't sit there and read this paragraph to myself, I used to always, we go in paragraphs, you got a couple paragraphs, and I would sit there and try to figure out when I was going to be called upon. And if I didn't feel good about getting it, I would make up an excuse like, hey, I ain't got my glasses. Teacher, glasses? Nigga, you ain't never wear no glasses in here. Well, I ain't got my glasses today, and I'll just walk out the class. So then, they'd call home and talk to moms, like, what you doing? Like, man, they called on me today, and I didn't feel good about it. And it hurt, in the times where I didn't get the chance to get out of there or make an excuse to get up, I would try to do it and I would get laughed at. And then, from that laughter caused me, beating up a lot of people. I would never disrupt a classroom ever. But as soon as the bell ring, I'd be sitting right outside the door, and the motherfucker who was laughing, they would have to catch these hands. And then, it was really hurting myself. And I tell all young people that it really hurts yourself in the long run. You just got to ask for some help. And once I did, the doors opened up, man. So that's what I preach, and that's what I believe in. We all different. We all gonna make it in time, but some people need some help, some people don't. And even in football, you can be good in football. Some people sitting on the sideline, it's not as good as you are right now, but they just need to ask for help or spend that extra time. And that's what I figured out. I just had to ask some extra time and learn some different ways to learn to get the lesson. And I did, and I put in the work, man. It was hard. But I graduated college, first person in the family to graduate from college. And, now I enjoy reading. I enjoy listening to books on tapes. I'm not the best at it, but what I'm saying, I definitely will give my best, and I'm definitely not ashamed to talk about it now these days.
Hey, excuse me. So after Bean talked to you about having a shot, and you realize,
I forgot that. Yeah. Go ahead.
You realize your learning disability, right?
Yeah.
What transitioned into now I can go get this scholarship from realizing you got a shot to learn disability, and then in the recruiters coming to talk to you? What transitioned to the actual scout to get the scholarship?
I had to get that SAT score. Back in the day, remember Boys in the Hood, when Ricky had to get that test score. I remember the first time I ever telling my mom, no, it felt like I was in the movie, man. I got my test score, came back, and I opened it up, man, and I had 740. Back then, you had to only have a 700. Right. And moms had asked me to go to the store, and I was like, and it just felt like, I'm in that type of danger zone neighborhood that this could be a possibility. If I go down here, something could happen. I just wanted to go to sleep with this test score and take it to Coach Bean on Monday. And I think it came in on Saturday morning. And I was like, nah, Mom, I'm just taking that, man. I slept with my test score on my chest. And I got to school that Monday, man. Coach, I got the score, man, that you told me I needed to get to 700. I probably the first kid to ever get the SAT. I know we signed a lot of petitions and I love Coach Bean to death because of this. One of these hard and working things he done for me was to get the test SAT on time for me. So I had a person where if I didn't understand a question, I would ask them, what does this question mean? They would read it out, and then I would have to make, the choice A, B, C, or D, whatever it was. But I had somebody there that would read the question to me if I needed that. And Coach Bean helped me out with that. And that's why he's like a father to me, man. And he done for, not just for me, I was the first, but he done for others after me. But that's one of those things that you try to find that good coach that would go the extra mile for you. And that's what it did. Once I got that test score, I mean, he started hitting me with letters that was come thick, like, here, these came for you, these came for you. And I'm like, damn, nigga, why you was holding all this, man? And he was like, man, just because I didn't know if you was ready yet. Mentally first, but then if I didn't have a score, he was like, I wasn't going to be wasting my time. And so when I got that score, man, and I remember I had my first one was from West Point, was my first offer. And that was a military school, and my dad was in the military, and he wasn't a dad to me. So I was like, fuck that. I'm never going to no military school. And then San Diego State and all the other big schools. And Oregon came around, and I went up to school to Oregon. I went to Washington State. I took, it's crazy how it works. When you're a Titan, and I know you guys are prideful about your schools, my fullback ended up getting a scholarship because of me, because they wanted me to come to the school, but I told them I would only come if they take my fullback, because I was like, well, shit, we can keep our connection going. I was a 2,000-yard rusher. Y'all bring him there, and I can do probably the same for y'all school. So it was all right. Well, we're gonna bring him on the trip. If we like him, then we'll offer him. I played him the whole time. Was like, man, I'm coming to the school. I'm going to Washington State. We coming together, baby. It's gonna be a package. They offered him. He stood up and committed at the dinner. And I was like, blood, I ain't coming to this school. He like, this ain't cool for me, but I'm gonna ride this thing all the way until they say you good, and then I'm gonna back down. So I told him I was going, and then Oregon offered me, and that was my dream school. And he was able to go to Washington State. He got his deal. I got my deal to Oregon, and the rest is history, man.
That's loyalty.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
it was good.
that's how you. That's how you ride it out too. Hey,
Yeah.
JP, you said Oregon was your dream school, right? And I'm thinking
Yeah.
about back then, right? Oregon was not Oregon it is now, right? It's
No,
right
it
now.
wasn't.
What made Oregon the dream school for you?
Well, when I went up there, man, they had a program for kids that had learning disabilities. Somebody had dyslexia. I was able to get tested and found out I had dyslexia, and was able to. They had just a good program for me. They had a lot of guys that came before me that they was able to show me on paper, like, this person, look at this grade, this is what he was. He left out of here with this degree, and I'm like, man, this is dream school for me. And then also football wise, they had a senior and then they had a junior running back, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just a freshman. I have some time. Them two do graduate in 2 years. I have time to run the clock out. And not knowing that, when you get to that next level, baby, they coming to recruit you. They trying to replace you every single year. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you wait your time. You do wait your time, but they always trying to replace you every single year. Now, they're going to give you time to mature and all that stuff, but know that you might get to your senior year and they find this phenom of freshman. They might put him in front of you. So you got to stay on top of your game. But I felt like I would have an opportunity. But they had that school piece for me, and it wasn't too far from home. It was a little bit separation where I felt like, I'm in a different city and state and all that stuff, but I can get home to mom's if I needed to fast. So I think that's why it became a dream school. Because I didn't really watch football. A lot of people don't know. I was baseball. I wanted to do the baseball thing. I didn't really watch college football, none of that stuff until maybe my senior year. I started paying attention to it once I signed to Oregon. Oregon played Cal one time, and Cal was beating the brakes. Oregon was beating the brakes off of Cal. Cal ended up coming back and ended up beating them at the end. They was like, you still going to go to Oregon? I'm like, yeah, I'm still going to Oregon. They still got the money on the table. Cal didn't offer me, even though I looked up to Russell White, who was a star running back over there, and he had a learning disability. So he had reached out to me about my end of my senior year. And when I wrote him and told him that I had, I learned like him, and he read me back and said, man, that you can do it. And just, it's going to be some hard days and as it was, but you can make it. So.
Hey, when you leave and go to Oregon, right? So
yeah,
a couple questions with that, right? What did that feel like as a kid from Oakland, the kid from the neighborhood that we're from? And there's so many people that didn't get the opportunity that you started off with at the Dynamite, the Bret Hart days, a whole ton of athletes. What was it like when you finally left and got out of here to Oregon? I remember the feeling when I first got to Arizona State. That shit was like a new world for me, right? It was like I left, get to Arizona State in 01, right? Leaving to go to, in 01, go to Arizona State. And it was like, I feel like I left every problem I had in here in Oakland, right? At the time, we had war with Acorn and all kind of shit going on. And it's like, them ain't my problems no more once I leave here, right? I'm in a 12 different place under that, looking over this. I ain't worried about nobody ghost riding a whip in 01, right? 02 in Arizona. What was that feeling like for you when you got to Oregon and the guys that we witnessed that didn't make it as far?
Probably the same as you. When you get out of there and I'm not hearing gunshots, you know what I'm saying? And our neighborhood, we heard plenty of those. I'm not seeing what is a culture shock, really. Once I had my peace of mind at nighttime where I felt like, if I wanted to leave the door open, you can leave the door open because ain't nobody finna come in there with these issues or try to do something to you. Very proud moment because I think I had like a big going away party. So I just feel like the neighborhood embraced me. Everybody kind of gave me a little gift to be like, man, you made it. You made it. Like, man, I made it. I'm just going to school. But it is a big accomplishment that everybody, us had the opportunity to do, and the ones that had this opportunity to go away off to college. It's like, man, you sit back and think about it. You get to our age now, you're like, man, yep, that's something that every kid should get the opportunity. But every kid has the opportunity. But do you have the willingness, or have you put in the work to have that choice to be able to do that? And I commend everybody as yourself to have that opportunity. But very proud, very thankful. And like you said, I felt like I'm standing on the shoulders for the ones that's going to come behind me. You know, I wanted to always make sure if I'm up here from Oakland, I want to have that next person that they bring from Oakland who had the same opportunity. And because they are looking at you, if you go up there and be a bad apple, they might not get that kid from Oakland the next shot, you know. And then I did all right. And then there was a couple other that followed me behind me, you know, the next following year. They brought 2 more dudes, Corey Collins, Jason Cooper. You know, those dudes got to come from Oakland, come from Skyline. And it was like a little pipeline that was starting, you know, people coming running up to Oregon from Oakland. And it felt good. Like, man, you was a little beacon. And actually, it wasn't me first. It was James Reed from St. Mary's who went to Oregon first. And when I got there, they was kind of hesitant because James went up there and he started blowing like so much. He was getting in trouble a lot. And they was like, man, we ain't going to have problems with you smoking weed, right? I'm like, no, I don't smoke no weed. Now, if my brother would have got this, and that might have been a different story. But, you know, he chose to smoke. I didn't ever smoke, so I was good. I never was late to things. I was late a couple of things and had to be one or two 6:30s. But James was like on this list for like 2 years, and it was just enough was enough. I'm like, damn, James, you putting giving Oakland a bad name, bro. Like, come on, man, get this shit together. But, you know, he tapped out and had to go do something different. But so you always want to be that beacon and try to lay good groundwork. And I think that's what I did. And the guys that came after me did the same thing. So I think we should be good if you're going up to Oregon, you know, Oakland kids can make it up there.
We had Corey on the show. Corey.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
we had Corey on. We called him up there, man. His name was Big Smooth.
He did tell us about how you helped him and going up there with Jason Cooper and all of that helped the transition a whole lot better. That you was already up there coming from Skyline. He did inform us of that. I remember a time. I'm not sure if it was you could have been back watching the Super Bowl, or it could have been you were back on semester break and we're at the Jamboree or something for basketball, but you had on these Oregon shoes, these Oregon Duck shoes that had the strap over the top of them. They looked like the old school Deons, but they was Oregon. And I'm like, hey, I got to get to college. They give you your own shoes, right? Like to me, it wasn't that they was the Oregon Duck. I thought KP had his own shoe, like Oregon had his own shoe, right? And I'm like, hey, dude, I got to get D1 somehow. They giving you your own shoes, right? And I'm like, hey, that shit was folklore to me, Ken. Like, this is the first time I seen some college shoes. KP had them on. I'm like, hey, that motherfucker's clean and this. So we gotta get there, right?
Yeah.
Hey, but what was it like when you first left and now you're not really far, but you're far away from your brother, right? And I remember, and I always compared twins to the shit I saw on G.I. Joe as a kid, right? This happened and you feel it. This person had that, you feel it, right? Do you feel you were feeling your twin shit that he had going on while you were away?
Man, it's crazy. You know, that's like a myth or something that needs to be solved or talked about more. I think you definitely do and can feel when your sibling or your twin brother is facing some issues. I remember one time, I'm like, man, I'm feeling really bad. I need to call home. And like somebody was like, I don't know what I was doing. I'm like, man, I just got to call home. Something don't feel right. I felt that, and my brother was in an accident. And I called my mom, like, Mom, bro, all right. He's like, man, that's crazy. You called. Your brother's got in an accident. And your brother just got in an accident. And he told me to tell you, like, he used your name. So, like, he used my name. So my brother, bro was always into something, man. He knew my social security, he knew my license number. My brother didn't have his license, so he gave my information and had to put in the ambulance. So I get a bill, like, what the hell is this bill for $1,000? Bro leaves my name. He's in a car accident, so he gave the people my information because I had a license. He didn't have license, so I uncovered my brother so many ways, man, so many times because he knew all my information. And, one twin, you always have a good twin and a bad twin. I was a good twin, and bro was always mixing up in something. But, yeah, I always would feel, or he would feel, I remember I broke my ankle, and my brother called me. He's like, man, something ain't right. What happened? And I'm like, damn, how do you know? I could just feel something. So I had broke my ankle one time when I was a freshman, and bro called up there. But being away from him was always tough. Because we had a bond and like no other, being a twin, you have fraternal twins, but you have identical. That's just a different type of thing, and I respect all twins. We call all identical twins called fraternal twins, fake twins. That's what I do. I know I do myself, even though just that connection, man, and sharing that same sack with somebody is just, it puts in a different stratosphere for me. But, yeah, it was tough being away from him, but I always wanted to try to make him proud, man. I always wanted to make bro proud. And I remember I got the opportunity. I didn't go pro like I wanted to. I remember going up to Canada, man, and got cut. And me calling home, man, and tell my brother, man, like, man, can you pick me up from the airport? So bro came to pick me up from the airport, man, San Francisco airport. I'll never forget this. I feel like it just was yesterday. I'm driving, and I just started crying, like, blood, I'm very sorry. Like, nigga didn't make it, right? I'm like, and he was like, what? Nigga, what is you crying for? What you mean you didn't make it? Nigga, you know where we come from, where we had to face and all things that we've been through? Nigga, you better dry all them tears up. I don't want to hear none of that gay shit what you talking about right now. Excuse me for saying gay, because,
that's just how we talk back then.
But you know what I'm saying? He was just like, he didn't want to hear nothing. That's just his words that he told me right then, because back then you can talk like that. But he was just like, bro, I don't want to hear it. And I get emotional now talking about it. But it was just like, bro, you made it. Like, you understand. When we go back home, just watch how many people going to pull up on you and just so happy for you. And when we got back to the turf, it just like, everybody was just like, bro, you made it. Like, bro, for one, you graduated from college. You got a chance to play a little pro football. And I thought it was over then, but I ended up playing for a whole nother year. And, I just didn't get the big deal like I wanted to get, buying moms a house. We always talked about we was going to buy moms her Mercedes, a red Mercedes, where, her seat was going to be locked for nobody, any man that she was dealing with couldn't drive her car because the seat was going to be locked to her side. Just being raised by a single mother, man. So we always had those dreams, and that didn't come true right then. It's come to other ways where I've been able to take care of moms, but it came a whole different avenue, man, in life.
Well, I say on that note, I understand it wasn't at that time, what the dream that you wanted. But I'll say for me, and Lois already spoke on how you influenced him, but I remember Mario Bobineau did a tape of all the college guys. And I remember seeing you, I seen DG, I seen LaCorey. So me seeing that let me know, like, oh, kids from Oakland can make it. Because I never really saw that before that video came out. So by you going to Oregon and balling out and stuff, you inspired a kid like me who was, I was probably in junior high or something at that time. So it wasn't what you wanted it to look like, but you definitely inspired a lot of kids in Oakland, including myself, to keep going and working hard and knowing that it was possible.
Wow. Thank you, man.
And to follow that up, KP, we had Lorenzo Alexander on, right? We had Zoe on, and Zoe talked about the time y'all was at Cal and how you made it a point to help Cal bring these Bay Area guys in. We talking Marshawn, we talking Phil, we talking Robert Jordan, right? Yeah. They said like you being at Cal during that time frame was helping it. And I'm like, dude, and I thought about it. I said, dude, Marshawn goes to Cal if KP's not there. Probably not. I don't think so, right? What was it like that made you get into that role to bring them to help get kids that sometimes we used to always talk about how Cal overlooked the Bay, right?
Yeah.
What made it your point to get into that role to bring these kids from Oakland into Cal? And how easy was that transition for them dudes?
The position that came about, I played for Jeff Teffer, who was my college coach my last year up at Oregon. and it was crazy. I was sitting there watching. I think they was playing the Fiesta Bowl, and they was like, breaking news: Jeff Teffer just took the job at Cal. I'm like, man, I used to be my coach. They always talk about, when you leave, if I can ever do something to help you out, give me a call. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. I pressed his number during the game. It's halftime. I left him a voicemail like, Coach, man, congratulations for one. Look like y'all gonna win this game, but congratulations coming to Cal. You coming to my neighborhood, man. Shoot me a call if I can help out, and I would love to come see you and just congratulate you in person. So he called me like 2 weeks later, like, man, I'm gonna be down there next week. Come by the office and see me. So I went by there, seeing him, like, what you doing now these days? I was working with some at-risk youth over at this company, and he was like, man, I said, Coach, I'd like to work for you. And he was like, oh, is that right? He said, well, let me come. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to get the family. I'm going to come back and then come back and see me. I'm going to think of something and we can talk about something. So when he came back in the week, he called me like, man, show up here on Tuesday. We can talk about a job. So I'm like, all right, he's just talking. He really called me on that Tuesday. I went up and seen him. He's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I said, I want to be your coach. I play running back. He knew I knew the system. I would always buy into whatever coach was teaching. And he was like, man, I know you know my system. He said, but you're a little young. He said, but I'm going to start you off in recruiting. I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, but I just need to get a grasp about what's going on in this team because I've just been hearing the stories. A new coach come in there and they interview everybody. They didn't have really no camaraderie. Their team would always be split up. And he's like, I think you can be that glue to get everybody together. And so I did that. I started with Zoe and his crew. They lost a lot of games. They were like 1-10 when we took over. Man, we went from 1-10 to winning, having to win the season, but they were on probation because a lot of dudes was taking little benefits or whatnot up at Cal and they got in trouble. But we would have went to a bowl game the first year, which we didn't. We went to second year, Zoe's senior year. But then I started talking about, man, there's some good talent out here in Oakland, man. We need to get these dudes to stay home. And that was one of his initiatives and his big things that he was pushing. I'm going to start keeping all these barrier kids in the Bay. It shouldn't make no sense. We had dudes, I think Kenny O'Neill went all the way to Miami. You had Ken Dorsey, who was from San Ramon, went to Miami. All these dudes, if we can keep all these dudes home, shit, they're going to be talking about Cal on the national level. And then here we go. We had Sean. Family members was right around the corner in the Doves. The Rails, they was right there on 26. I was on 27th and Garden. I would see Sean all the time. They never had met him just yet, but and then Coach D and Uncle Phil coached me. And when I was growing up in Massanutten, up at the center at the rec. And so I'm like, man, so let me go over and holler at them and see what's really going on in the Bay. Who all the dudes that we need to be on? And they would tell me, man, you need to be on all these dudes. And start bringing it to the meetings. Like, this is the kids, these are dudes we need to be on. And they start like, man, KB, you know what he talking about? They looking at it like, man, these dudes can really play. And so once they started landing, it was all she wrote, man. And then when Sean came, it was, Sean came with Fail. He came with Rob. He came with Phil Mbatu. He came with D Hill. Just the whole, it's like, man. It's
he
like,
opened it up.
Like blue chippers, like, how's that getting all these people? It was Sean doing my doing. And then there are people just want to stay home, have their families, really play, you know what I'm saying? And they can get the best of both worlds. You can pocket your scholarship money and really stay at the house. You know what I'm saying? Then you can have you something here and you can just work all your angles. And what college is really all about is working your angles and trying to maximize, your growth. And they were able to do it. And then we start winning. And then winning cures everything too. He had a good system. We start winning. We started going to these bowl games, getting these gifts, getting these rings. And then them dudes came in. And then just for me being there, I think I was able to tell those dudes the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit for you. I'm going to tell you good job. When you messing up. And they know they have somebody they can count on because sometimes kids get to college and have some risks with coaches, but they knew they had somebody that they can confine in. They knew it wasn't going to change up on them. And I think that's really what stuck everybody.
I knew things had changed up there when I was riding on 880 and saw the billboard with Lorenzo on it. I said,
yeah.
Oh, I ain't never seen this before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Cal has some great players that come out of there, man. But I remember, I was there when we found Aaron Rodgers to come up there, man. We know they was looking at the tight end for his school, but I'm like, okay, tight end catching all these balls. Who's throwing him the ball?
Right.
Like, ain't nobody said nothing about this dude, Aaron Rodgers, man. And Andrew McGraw, who was my boss, we found him, and then we sent Coach Teffer up to Butte to see him, man. He came back that meeting that Sunday, like, hey, baby, I found our guy. And man, they set me up there, this boy named Aaron Rodgers, and we ended up taking Garrett Cross was the tight end. So they ended up coming as a package deal, but the rest was history, man. So it was a blessing being up there at Cal. Being a kid from Oakland, I never went to Cal.
Right.
I never went over to Cal. We would go to Blondie's and they had the little arcade thing, but
Right,
I never had stepped
right.
foot on the campus until I started working there, and that was crazy.
And the only Cal game I saw was up on the hill. I sat up on the hill. What they call
Taiwan
strawberry, whatever the
Taiwan Hill.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Canyon,
but
we always used to call it.
Yeah.
Hey, KP, what was it like though? Like when they brought recruits in that wasn't from Oakland, did they always have you being the guy that do the talking to them and stuff like that? I'm thinking to the Deshaun Jackson, right? You guys still Deshaun Jackson from USC, right? Because it's automatic he's going to USC, right? Then he come out here on a visit and sign, right? Were you the guy that started the process? Like once he got here, I'm starting the conversation with him.
Yes, when we had a guy on a coaching staff named Ken Delgado who had a great relationship with his high school coach down at Poly. So that was a connection to even just get him here on the trip. But he's like, man, when he come on the trip, I don't know, this dude 5-star, this and that. They say he a big talker and all that stuff. They was like, well, send KP down there and kick him up from the airport. So when I picked up Deshaun, his great family, man, his dad, rest in peace, his name was Bill, and his mom, Gail. They came, man, and I was with them the 48 hours they was here, I was with them the whole time. And they was just like, man, there's something about you, man, you're a little different. You know what I'm saying? I was like, look, I don't want nothing from them. I just want the best from them. And I know it can happen here. And they got somebody in me that's going to be there for them. I don't care if they call me at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. They need some. KP is going to get it done for them. And that's how I rock. And the people understood that, man, he what he telling you is absolutely true. Them dudes were getting any type of issue or they needed something, hit KP, man, and KP was there for them. And then they knew when they was tripping or coaches, I would always be that one who had to be the bridge. I would never go, hey, man, this is what your coach is saying about you. I knew how to ferry it together to make them all men to be as one. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to be the top rate. We're trying to get to, I think we got to number 2 in the country at one point when they was there. And I was never that guy who was going to go say, all right, Deshaun can't stand his receiver coach or can't stand the head coach. No, hold on. How can we figure out to get this y'all working together? You know what I'm saying? You got a big goals. You're going to have dreams, aspiration to go on the next level, and you're on that path. It's the way you got to go about it. You can't go be no dickhead because they will get you up out of here. So plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? And when you're a 5-star guy, they give you a little bit more rope to hang yourself. But and Deshaun, at times, you have to reel him in. And there's been times where the coach was just tripping, but they didn't understand the culture. You know, a lot of kids come in from our neighborhoods and our walk of life that have this going on. Have y'all ever asked him how he doing? You know what I'm saying? How his parents doing, grandma doing? A lot of people bring that baggage with them, and if they're bothered by something that's going on back home, that will affect them on the football field. Definitely. So coaches, y'all got to understand to ask those questions about these people. You know, you can talk about X's and O's, but my grandma, my mom dealing with something, my dad dealing with something, that's going to affect him. And they had to understand it, like, man, they was wondering why, man, you got the post, you got the team. I mean, I remember one time, y'all, this is crazy. The whole team sat in practice. Didn't even go out for practice. Coaches out there, everybody, where the team at? I already knew it was like a little cool, like everybody, they boycotting this thing. KP, can you go in the locker room and tell them, like, can they come on out and practice? Guys, what's going on, man? They out there asking for y'all. So what y'all did make a statement. So that everybody's on notice right now. Let's come on out. So I went back out there, man. They're going to be out here in a minute. You know, it took another about 20 minutes. But that was one of those things, like, man, they put a whole little movement together. And, like, if y'all going to do the movement, y'all got to do it together. It can't be one person. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a team thing. And they made their point. But, yeah, there was always, I think, a little fear for me of that because I had the post of the team. And I could have went out there and practiced. They could have been practicing. I could have rallied everybody up, like, everybody go in. And I think the team, man, KP said go in. And it was just like, no, I would never use my authority like that way or abuse anything. But I did have a post to be able to, what the player was bothering the players or what was bothering the coach for us to come together to put Cal up on the map where it needs to be.
AKP, do you feel like sometimes I don't gotta say do you feel sometimes I know this some kids put in their head already that I'm this 5-star, I'm this 4-star, whatever. I want to go play in the SEC. I want to go to the SEC school. I want to go to one of the Big 12 schools.
Yeah.
So when we brought up like Kenny O'Neill, right? Who
Yeah.
played at Skyline with your old coach while
Yeah.
you're right here. Did Beam ever try to get you to, hey, dude, Kenny O'Neill, man, they got a good thing going on over at Cal. This might be an avenue you should check out. I'm thinking at the speed of a Kenny O'Neill and Deshaun Jackson on the outside, right?
That'd
With
be crazy.
Robert Jordan in the slot and Marshawn and Justin Forsett in the backfield, right? Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, right? That's a amazing situation. How does Kenny O'Neill end up in Tennessee? Like, is it because Florida State? He went to Florida State or Tennessee?
Both. He went to Florida State first and then ended up leaving there to go to, I think, Tennessee, finished up in Tennessee. Yeah.
So how
but I
do
think,
how does that happen?
Ahead.
Go ahead. No, you explain to us.
I think Coach definitely tells us to look in our backyard first. You know, I think he told everybody after me, before me, to, you know, take a look at those schools. Look at Cal. You know what I'm saying? If your mom raised you, you know, he knows that you love your parent. You might want to stay home and be close to them. And then sometimes he gonna let you make your own decision, but he definitely tells everybody they should look at those schools in your backyard. Stanford, you know, a lot of people ain't got the grades to go to Stanford, so he never really had to preach that too many times. But Cal, you know, you can get that little waiver if you was at the cusp and didn't have the greatest grades to get in. You know, they can make something happen. But Coach lets you pick your own thing. He puts it on the table for you and lets you make your own choice. But he definitely will take you over there, take you to a couple of games to see if you're feeling it or not. And then it's up to you to make it happen.
I don't know Kenny's entire story, but I think he spent a majority of his childhood in Georgia.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah, but I think
and
so.
Then he transferred to Skyline. So I don't know if he was a kid in Oakland, then moved to Georgia, but he spent a good portion of time in Georgia.
Right.
He went back,
they was actually like, who was this O'Neill kid that came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I remember them asking me about him. I was like, shit, I didn't know, but let me get on the horn and find out.
Hey, KP, let us know, like, you're a coach yourself, right? But give us some insight on some of the coaches that played a huge role. We know Beam. What about like the Zoes and all of your Coach Zoe and all the other things that have helped you? Give us some insight on your relationship with them type of coaches, or even so, just keeping good relationship with coaches, regardless if you play for them or not.
Yeah, that's very important, I believe. I mean, it goes all the way back to my Dynamite days with Coach White, Coach Raven, Coach Jackson, and then moving on to high school. Everybody, of course, know Coach Beam, but Coach Sanders was my JV coach. Coach Sanders was very influential in my life. And then my brother coaches, you know, Coach Kiefer. We had Coach Edwards over there at Tech, Uncle Phil, Verdell Larkins, big senior. Then we over at Fremont, I think, who was coaching back then? Coach Gene was there for a second. Coach Denny over there at Castlemont. Then you had Zoe over at McClimus. You had Coach Peters, who ended up being his successor. But all these coaches, man, and off the college, I started with Rich Brooks, the great Rich Brooks at Oregon. Then Coach Bellotti took over, and then all the coaches has been at Cal. Coach Teffer, Coach Sonny Dykes, the present coach right now, Justin Wilcox, and all those assistants. Man, I think I still talk to most all the assistants to this day, because when they came here, I told them, man, hey, baby, y'all get all the money, so I do have some connects in the streets, man. So don't be out there buying this, and that. You know what I'm saying? If you can save you $1, man, you better want to holler at me. So I saved so many people, many of dollars, man, from even car dealerships, people that I know to hook things up, from, cable, whatever it may be, your local dentist. My kids need this, or I want to go to this good school, or this realtor. I kind of know everybody. When you're able to stay home and work in your own network and be able to use it, and by just being a good person, man, people will always, anytime I make a call, somebody gonna try to help me out, because all I'm doing is trying to help somebody, and put them in good hands and good working people. So those coaches that's ever had their hands on me, hands on any Oakland kid, I thank them from the bottom of my heart because they played a tremendous role. You know, a tremendous role in my life. Any coach I ever come and pass from all my baseball coaches, I thank them for guiding me for be the man that I am today, for them getting on me, for them giving me a little leeway, from them not playing me, whatever it may be, for them just being out there giving their voluntary time. They've helped me be the man that I am today, and I can't thank them enough. And I think that's why I'm out there trying to give back right now myself. It's not because of money, because y'all, as y'all know, ain't no money in the OEL coaching. It's nothing like Texas schools and Alabama schools who put real real money into high school sports. It's just all about the love and trying to let that young man become the best person that he can be, for hopefully one day he turn around and turn it back and give it back.
Absolutely, man. KKP, one of the things, Ken got daughters, so he might not struggle with this as much as we may struggle with this as well. How often do you have, or how do you talk to your son? You had your older son that played at Skyline a few years ago, and you got your son now that's playing at McClimon's, right? How do you let them know they don't have to fill your shoes, right? Because it's some hard shoes to walk in to be KP, right? And do sometimes you feel they struggled with, I got to be as good as my dad or something like that?
Yes. And I experienced that last year with my older son. He's at Fresno State playing. He's a walk-on, bust his butt, man, to become a scholarship kid. He was doing very well in school. And I went to a game, and they played my son at the end. They put him in. And, man, it was the most proudest moment. I just sit there and start crying. I'm tearing up now thinking about it. If seeing my son run out there on the field, not knowing if he's going to catch a ball, whatever. I'm just him getting that glory of playing in front of thousands of people up there in Fresno. It was the best feeling, like I won a championship. And they didn't throw in the ball. He was open 2 times, and he had a block. I think 3 other times he blocked. And I was like, and I took him out to dinner that night. I said, "Blood, you made Pops feel like we was in the Super Bowl." And he's like, "Man, I didn't catch the ball though." He was a little mad. I was like, "For me, as your father, I'm excited for you." You know what I'm saying? Because you got it. It's millions of people who want to play, who want to be out there on the field, who never get the opportunity. Of course, you didn't get a ball. You know, your name wasn't in the paper, none of that. But I said, but for me, as your daddy, it was just a moment that I'd never had with my father. You know what I'm saying? So me being your dad, I'm thankful. Now the little one right now who's running it up right now in McClimon's, he might be on a different path, and where he might get, the glory to, get some touches and all that stuff. But I tell them all, I have 4 boys. Y'all can never be me. It was only one me, and my brother was the closest person to being me. So, and he was his own self. Y'all got to be your own man, make your own path, and it's going to come your own way. There's some stuff out there y'all can look at. You can Google, find some old clips of your dad, but my shit back then was all right for them, bro. Now it's got to be way better. So, like the film we watch, the TVs we buy, everything is better than what it was back then. So don't be caught up on that. I do know the blueprint, and I know it just comes with hard work, dedication. You're going to need some mercy, and you're going to need some grace from the man above to get where you want to get. And don't worry about us. We're going to be all right. But do it for you first, and then whatever comes, and we'll handle it after. But I think all kids got to do it for themselves first, and don't be really worried about what somebody did in the past. Take from it, but learn how to adjust it to your game so you can develop from it, I think I would say.
That's amazing, man. Because I deal with it with my son, man. I be like, dude, I'm not pushing you to be me, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, our genetic is the same, but it ain't the same, right? Like literally, like I got more on my daddy's side than you got, right? I have them straightforward, right? So the speed ain't there, right? But I tell them all the time, you are 1,000 times smarter than I ever was, right?
There you
Mentally,
go. Yeah.
Way smarter than the way you can think and use stuff, when you use your brain, it blows me out the water, right?
Right.
So now the game is a little more smarter than it was when we played, right?
That's true.
Now
That's
you
true.
can be way more smarter and use that advantage, right? You're not going to be as fast. You might not never be as fast as I was, right?
Right.
But you way more, you can always be smarter than I was, right? And take advantage of that, right? So I got to tell my son all the time, I'm not pushing you, or you can't push yourself to say you got to live up to me, right? Because you get 4.0s. I ain't never had that before in my life, right?
Hello, say that again. Yeah.
That's way better than I ever did. You already passed me, right?
Yes,
you
sir.
already think better than me because you're doing way better than I ever did in the classroom, right?
Right.
So I gotta, motivate from that aspect of it, man, to keep them motivated, stuff like that. Because oftentimes we look at it like, I can't live to my dad. You want me to be my dad? I got this last name. I got this. This is what they expect. And I'm like, I don't expect that from you. I don't even expect that from you. I expect you to go out and get your best, but get this grade shit. I can't do that at all, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to guide in a different light like that, man, because not to put the pressure on, because all the time we see some fathers put that extra pressure on them because where they played at and what they did, right? So that's why I wanted to ask you, did you have to deal with that? Because even yours is way higher than mine, right? Even trying to live up to that is a little higher, right? That's why I asked you that. Little KP is doing his thing at Mac right now, man. I watched it as a freshman. He's a sophomore this year.
Sophomore this year, yeah.
So last year as a freshman, he doing his thing even more. Watching the bigger game this week tomorrow. I'll be there for that one too. To watch that. We still trying to get Pooh on, man. Pooh shook us like a pair of dice one day, man.
Is that right? I'm gonna get that done for y'all, man. I'm gonna keep on standing here.
Yeah, we heard that before.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna take it as a challenge.
We had it scheduled. We had the link sent out. We had the link sent out. The confirmation. And
Pooh shook us like a pair of dice, man. I'm talking about Omaha, Blue 42. Hey, shout out to Pooh.
I'm gonna count that as a goal, man. I'm gonna try to get that done. Even though I gotta handle my phone and y'all just be on there. We're gonna travel that way then. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
Shout out to Pooh and McClimas, man. Hey, KP, how often do you let these kids at McClimas know the difficultness and how to take advantage of being in the position where they can actually get out, man? Because everyone don't get out. See, people think when you go to McClimas, you win and you're automatically should get out, right? How do you guys balance that with them kids that, that look at it from that point of view?
Well, this is going to my second year there in first full year. Hopefully we can get the full year in, but last year, stepping in, we got the little short season, the mystique, and I knew all what Mac had to offer, and like, why would I send my son there? I was sending my son there because we went to a presentation that they had about the school and the numbers that how many kids are in the classroom, what the percentage of kids that was going off to college who didn't even play sports. I was like, bam, that's it. That's another part that we talked about. You just said that you tell your kid, son getting 4.0, my son the same thing, getting 4.0s. And I was like, that's been my dream. I never wanted my kids to have to struggle in learning like me. I don't care about the aspect of non-sport. Please, God, don't put that struggle on them because they might not be mentally tough enough when that time when they finna crack that they allow them to overcome that, not taking their life or something. And that's been a good thing that they haven't had to worry about. Now it's other issues that have come up in life that they're going to have to deal with that, things are going to happen. But that has been my one goal and my dream that God answered for me. So I thank him every day for that. But the mystique of being over at McClimas, yeah, you do win, but it's a science over there. It ain't just happening because you at McClimas High School. Coach Pooh, who will be a guest on this show, I'm claiming it right now for these two great brothers, it's going to happen, but it's a science of what he's doing over there. He is putting in the work with the kids. And, Pooh stay right across the street. So he's so accessible to the school where he's always there for the kids. He does food giveaways. He takes the kids to this program I started many years ago that Pooh jumped in a long time ago to San Quentin Prison. We are out in the community doing stuff at churches. he cares more about them ever winning a football game, and he's trying to develop great men, because over in that neighborhood, you know, you can get swallowed up, and, you know, you do hear gunshots and you do hear car break-ins and all that stuff that goes on in Oakland, not just so right there in West Oakland, but he's there more so for those moments. And I think that's why the kids come, because they figure out, oh no, this dude really do care. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really pray out of work and all that stuff, but Pooh is right there and he care. It's on me?
No, go ahead. Keep
okay.
going.
He cares, and that's why my son's there. And I think that's why the myth of me being there, I'm able to tell the kids, hey, look, yeah, we're gonna win some games here, but you're gonna be a better man, leaving a better young man leaving out of here, not just because you won a game or you might win a championship. We trying to preach better young men and what they're gonna need in life to carry on. Because when football is all said and done, will somebody call you one day and want you to be on a great podcast as you two got me on, and it's not because the Silver Bowl I won, it's not because I went to Oregon, it's because the person I had to be first with, you know, some solid character. I did win some games, but just the myth of, okay, no, he was a good player, he was a good person, and let's have him on our show. Because I don't think I'll be sitting on y'all show if I'd have murdered 10 people, you know, just because I won a Silver Bowl or I had a twin brother. You got to have the other accolades that line up with that too. So I think in life, that's why I tell them, like, man, one day somebody going to ask y'all to come talk, and you got to have that story ready for them to talk, and you got to have the time put in. And, then, you know, they might remember you for a couple of years for winning something, but in time, all that people are going to forget that, but they will never forget who the good people are. So I think that's who I try to preach to them, and just be a good person first, and everything else will take care of itself, man.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. So KP, before we get out of here, man, we won't take up too much of your time, but this is the Rec Center, so we got to do this, man. I got to give you a couple start bench cuts, man. It's gonna be from eras of kids, people you played with, people you watched after you, and people you just thought of, right? It's gonna be eras of start bench cuts, right? So the first start bench cut, we gonna go with some running backs, right?
Yep.
You got Derek Garner.
Yep.
Omari Murphy.
Yeah.
And Jason Cooper. Star bench cut.
Star Derek Gardner. And this gonna sound crazy right here. Cool. And then you said Omari Murphy, right?
Yeah.
So the star will be, I'm going with D. Nah, I probably had to get out to Murph, be the star. I'm gonna have to bench Coop, and I'm gonna play and then Derek gonna come off the bench.
No, ain't no coming off the bench. It's a cut. It's a start bench cut.
Oh, starting just a starter and cutting the rest of two.
No, you're gonna start one, bench one, and then go cut one.
Cooper's getting cut. Murph is a starter, and D coming off the bench.
Okay, we'll take that.
You know why he chose that? Murph's still coaching. He might need a kid.
No, hell no. You know what I was really gonna do? If I just kept it really 100. Murph really ran that rock. Murph
he went to Oakland High.
No, it ain't that. It ain't because my loyalty go with Murph to Dynamite. Because I really was gonna make it an all Skyline thing. Murph was just gonna get cut because he went to Ohio.
That's what I was expecting, honestly. That's what I was expecting.
I just really kept it like, who really Murph told that thing, man. So but DG did too. But I only cut Coop is because Coop ended my career in college. So I still got a little animosity towards Coop ass because when I tore all ligaments in my ankle at Oregon, it was because of Coop ass. So a lot of people
he missed the block. He missed the block.
Man, I had a 2-lane alley for him. He could have just walked in the end zone. He ran right in the back of me. And when they come tackling him, my ankle was out there getting exposed, and I tore all ligaments because of Coop. So that's the only reason I put Coop on the cutting his ass.
Okay. Hey, here go the other one, right? We got to go to the quarterback side of the ball. Start bench cut. We got Jace Gary, you got Lewis Fisher, and you got Jamani Hogg.
This for quarterbacks. Jamani is number one. He's a starter. And then I'm going with Jace coming off the bench. And then you said who else was Fisher?
Lou Fisher.
Yeah,
From
Fish
Fremont.
got to go on that one. I'm sorry, Fish, baby. I love you, though.
Got Lou Fish, right? And he
Yeah.
goes last one. This is the last one. This is the Oakland Tech argument, non-biased. I got to get it from you first. Start bench cut. You got Michael Denard. You got Marshawn Lynch. And you got Aaron Early.
Okay, now this crazy. This crazy. Now for me, you know, my loyalty, them both family to me. So that's a good one. We're not talking about for what he ended up becoming. Or
No, high school.
The high school.
High school.
At Oakland
Just high
Tech.
school.
Okay, now look, this is crazy. This is crazy. So I know this because we just talked about this in Vegas when Sean had his celebrity weekend. Aaron Early, star. Sean coming off the bench and Denard cut.
Oh, you broke my heart.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you why I say that. It's because Marshawn holds Aaron at a high standard. Like, he looked up to Aaron, and I didn't really know this.
That's what Aaron be saying.
But he was like, hey, Early used to run that rock, but like Aaron showed me so much and taught me so much. I'm like, what? But Aaron, you know, I used to be at the games with Steve. We used to go out there and watch Aaron. He was like blood. Aaron, Early had that thing rocking. Now, Denard, you know, he was a dog too. So I don't know. You know me, I'm so nice guy. I want to play everybody, man. Everybody.
Now, Aaron always say that though. Aaron always say Marshawn, like call him big bro.
Marshawn on here yet?
Nope.
We trying to get him.
Well, I didn't have a contact for Marshawn. I didn't have a way of contacting him.
Come on, man. You got him. I'm here on the phone, man. It's good. I'm going to have to put that one together. I want him to answer that question. So put a pause on me answering. I want him to really answer that question. That's the one that's going to be the tiebreaker, I guess. So
Coach Delton, rest in peace, said Mikey.
He said who?
Mikey.
Mike Denard.
Oh, is that right?
Mikey.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
he said
then you got to
Mikey.
go from him. Then let Sean be the tiebreaker on that one. Then. But,
All right. And here go our
Yeah.
last one, man. We talked heavily on this show. It came up a few times, right? We talk about the OAL first family, right?
yeah.
Who's the first family OAL, right? We had the Parker brothers, definitely you and your brother, you and
Yeah.
part of the Parker brothers. We had the Vital brothers. We had the
Mm.
Vital brothers. We had the Henderson brothers that came up out of Mac. Tyrone, Pat, and
No.
Darnell?
Tyrone, Marvin, and Darnell.
Darnell. Tyrone, Marvin, and Darnell. We had the Henderson brothers. What other brothers we had? Ken?
Who else we had? The Hendersons, the Vitals, the Parkers.
You had
Somebody.
the Gardeners.
The Gardners. That's another
The
one.
Gardners,
I don't think
the
we ever bring
Gardners.
up the Gardners, but they definitely
Yeah,
deserve mention.
The Gardeners would be there. And then even with the Gardeners, didn't the sister play softball?
Yep.
Deanna played
And she did, and she
softball,
cheered,
right?
and she cheered too. Yep.
Yeah. So we got those. Yeah, you can throw.
We got the
Deanna. And then
Goldenbergs. We got it's a couple of different brothers out there, man. But you want the same on that one?
I want you to rank them. We ain't gonna cut none of them. I want you to rank it at the first
And
family.
who's number one? That's all I want to know. Who number one?
Man, I'm a humble dude, so I wouldn't put myself at the top. I know when the Vardells came around, they was some dogs, man. I remember me and bro at the game was like, man, who is these niggas from Fremont? Man, these niggas is running it up. You know, they had the hair and everything. And, Henderson's. I wasn't a big Mac supporter. But it was three of them, you said?
So Marvin was the oldest. He went to Northridge. Tyrone was second. He went to Colorado. He played for Zoe like 01, I think. And then Darnell went to Arizona State.
Okay. And then DG and them was at the school with me.
Hey, hold on, Ken. Why you think about that? Hey, Ken, I'm not about to keep leaving off the Parham brothers, though. Me and Mel might didn't do it.
Mel handicapped you, bro.
Man, Mel handicapped me, man. Mel went to the baseball side of the field, but Mel was all city and football. Too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
ain't
That's
about to keep,
respectable. Yeah, for sure. You got to
yeah, you ain't about to keep leaving off the.
My bad, Mello. I love you, brother.
You get at me and Mel like we just chopped liver over here.
Yeah, no, y'all definitely
No, not you. Not you.
Oh, getting that Mel like Mel chopped liver, man. Hey, Mel, you watching our show, kid.
I know. Nah, Mel, my guy, man. I've been since
Mel
Green
ain't
Bay,
gonna like the
man.
comments.
Nah,
on this one,
it's
man,
all
but,
good.
Hey, but hey, the way I normally see it, KP, I normally always put the vital first because it was 4 of them and they all played at a good
Vitals,
level.
yeah.
But when you tell us KP missed 2 years, your brother missed 2 years of the school.
Yeah.
That's kind of like he only played 1 year and had that much.
He played a year and a half. I know he started off the freshman year, and then he caught the thing of like mid-October, late October, November. I think he went down on the ship, but
and then he made.
I would say the Vitals. Let's put the Vitals up 1. Put them boys up 1 because they was all.
That's my vote.
Yeah, put them boys up 1. Then I you could throw us in them, 2, 3. And then line everybody else up, man. I don't know. We all family. We all OEL. So somebody got to be 1.
It's a huge brotherhood, man. In that
huge
OEL
brotherhood,
team, man. Huge brotherhood, man.
When
it goes,
we don't even say the Shavies, the Shavy brothers.
Ooh, Fred and them, yeah, they was
state champion,
basketball,
Division 1,
and basketball, yeah.
They both went Division 1. They both went to Washington State. You can make an argument for the Shavies. I
mean, the Vitals are my pick, but the Shavies got to be mentioned, though.
Yeah, for sure. No, they both was great athletes.
And they did it. And we got 2 sports in the Shavies. You get 2 sports out of them. So that's a good argument, Ken. Hey,
and
you got somebody else? You're thinking about somebody else?
Nah, I was just thinking about doing those different sports. You know what I'm saying? I did basketball for a second, then I did track and football, and I played baseball too. But my brother, this nigga was doing something to that.
Hey, you talk about
you might have to just take everybody out of Ohio out of the thing, man.
Hey, you talking about Mel? I think Keith handicapped Kev a little bit.
Again, we probably would be mentioned more than wrong with you.
It makes sense now because when I got to Oklahoma, a lot of that was still going on. We just wasn't winning. But now I don't know how they was able to do it and win. I'm like,
but y'all didn't have keeper either. Y'all
and now,
that's right. Keeper was huge, man. I remember keeper coached us in an all-star game and got on me and showed me some stuff, man, that really helped me in my career. So, man, Ray, rest in soul, man. But this has been amazing, y'all, man.
Hey,
I know the time it flew by on this.
I was just about to say, KP, man, before we get off, man, give us some words to send us off, man.
I just want to say thank you, man. I thank God for his mercy and his grace. I thank him for having 2 good brothers, man, who wanted to come along through this pandemic, man, and put this thing out here and show light to a lot of great athletes, a lot of great young men who've had their time, who's trying to give it back and pay it back. That's why I came, because I looked at the ones that you guys showed me some videos on, and it was all great, man. I think I knew every single person, maybe besides maybe 1 or 2 guys I didn't know, but I was able to look at the podcast and get to know them. I think you guys are on a great path, and I want many, many more people to come. I think, some sponsorships to come behind this for y'all, because you guys are shedding lights, because we all want to talk about them old stories. Now, a good story, an old story is a story that needs to be told, but how can we affect the next story? And that's all I'm on this earth with, is trying to affect the next person's story by lending a helping hand. And I think when I lay down in the dirt, man, if somebody stands above me and says that I was a bad person, somebody need to slap the dog shit out of them, because they know I've been a good person, and all I'm trying to do is give back and pay it forward, because people have paid it into me, man. And once somebody does something for me, it's not about what you do. Can I do it back for you? Know that it's coming back for me. If you ever did anything for me, I don't care if it was a ride or just told me a helping word, I'm going to try to find a way to get it back to you plus some. So for every coach, for every athlete that I went to battle with or played against. I thank you for being there, for making me. I'm doing this interview with a heavy heart because my brother's not here with me. And it's been 19 years, it'll be 20 come next year, September 1st, man. We're going to do something huge and amazing at the graveside where he lays up in Rolling Hills. But, I'm off to practice right now to play it forward, man. We took a loss, man. I ain't experienced that in a long time. And overtime, high school had overtime. Boys ran a kick on his blood and they rushed the field. I'm left there looking at this like, this is crazy. But I go back today with the message of like, man, what happened in the past, we got to be 1-0 this week. We got a big one. We play Pittsburgh. So, that's a lot of people that lived in Oakland that's out there in Pittsburgh, man. I had to move for different situations and they got a lot of good things going on. Actually, the starting quarterback is one of my high school legends named Shark, whose son plays there, who's a legend, I get the kid has some big offers, but his dad was a monster up at Skyline with me. So we get to face him this week. But that was the message, man, for just going forward, man, is when you ever see me, I'm coming with love. I'm coming with respect. I'm coming with a helping hand. I'm coming to learn. And your kid is ever around me. That's what I'm teaching. That's what I'm preaching. I just retired, man, at 45 years old, man, in real estate game. And so I don't know how long my retirement is going to last for, but right now I can say God has blessed me to be able to just retire just last week, man. I'm actually day number 4 of my retirement, hitting a big thing in real estate. And I'm definitely happy and blessed for God to take me down that avenue. I don't know where it's going to lead to, but I know I'm trying to get closer to God and be a better man, be a good husband, a good father, a good friend. So 2 of my good friends here have this great podcast, The Rec. Get on the Rec, man. Come talk your talk, man. Tell your truth. Tell the truth. Don't put yourself number one. I didn't put myself number one in none of these things, man. I'm always shooting to be number one, but if I fall short, I'm still on the list, man. So I made the list. I'm on the Rec. And I appreciate you, good brothers, man.
Appreciate you,
Thank
man.
so
Enjoy
much.
your retirement. Go play some golf.
You, man.
Hey, I got the stick downstairs, man. I definitely will.
Hey, man,
I'll just go out to this football field and try to get a big win this week, man. But thank y'all. If y'all ever need me to help get some other people on, definitely. I already know I got Marshawn and Coach Pooh. They on my list, man. I get them on this great podcast. So
that would be more than enough. More than enough.
Hey, y'all keep that thing going, man. Like I said, if y'all ever need me, go again, hit me up. Appreciate you.
I
Locked
appreciate
in.
you,
Appreciate
KP, man.
Peace. All love,
right,
man. Thank you. All right, baby. One.
Hey, that was a dope one. Hey,
Man.
Ken, this is what happens when we interview people we don't know the story, right? Never knew KP was like, never knew all of the thing. I can imagine, like, just thinking about people not liking. You got a twin, all twins, this and that. Of course, like all of the drama. I can imagine, man. But shout out, that's a great story to hear, man.
Absolutely,
KP,
man. Wow. I'm blown away by that. And not to mention, I really looked up to him. So that was like, wow, impressive.
Absolutely, man. But, KP has always been a good dude, man. Always been a good dude, man. Always smiling, always happy, man. So shout out to KP, man. Just watching him. And like I told you, man, starting off, I remember being in 2nd grade and watching him doing shit. And I'm like, hey, this is like, I'm at elementary school with the KPs and LaVales and all of them. This is elementary school. So to see them keep climbing, I always looked up to them and just felt like that was the goal. There was the premiere, because I don't remember sports of people earlier than them. I can't think about nobody that was earlier than them. So definitely shout out to KPs, man, Keith and Kevin Parker.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kevin, for coming on. We want to thank our audience for watching, our supporters for continuing to comment on our YouTube page and comment on our Instagram and really spreading the word out in the streets and the barbershops. I hear a lot of stories about, oh, man, I heard somebody talking about the podcast. And man, that means a lot to know that you guys are enjoying it. So we appreciate that. Again, for our newcomers, go ahead and subscribe on the button below so you don't miss any of the amazing episodes coming up. We want to, I got to thank Aaron early for putting this together. Aaron put us in touch with KP, made it happen. So thank you, Aaron, for that. You can follow us on Instagram at the Rec Center podcast. Also subscribe to our YouTube page at the Rec Center. I'm Kenny Edwards for Lorenzo Parham. We out.